Howdy folks, I'm a stupendous white-crowned sparrow, starkly staring at splendid skies!
I'm Amber.
And here are more splendid skies for us to stare at, except for it's just the clouds, and they all look like sparrows. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter, very tragically, is titled, Am I a Jerk for Losing Our Family Savings Because I Tried to Help My Parents? A couple of years ago, we, a 35-year-old male and a 32-year-old female, sold our house and moved to another city, where we decided to rent for the time being. We ended up with close to $250,000 from the sale proceeds sitting in a bank account doing not too much. The intention was to use it as a deposit for a new house one day, or the kids' education, or something else meaningful. For us, it's a lot of money, neither of us are from a rich family, and definitely we're not given a kickstart to life like some other people. We worked hard to save for the first house deposit years ago, and we were really lucky that the housing market made us so much money in the end. It was a true life-changing opportunity that opened us up to a lot of possibilities in the future. Or so that was the plan. Mid last year, I found out that my father was looking to get a loan for what I thought was expanding his business, and I figured that he was not very successful at getting it from the bank. He had a small metal workshop making custom fences, letterboxes, kitchen benches, and things like that. So I offered him the money as a loan for a year or until we needed it. He was a little reluctant at first, but eventually agreed, and even offered us interest on it. And everything looked rosy. Well, fast forward to about a half a year ago, mid-January, my mom called me in tears that they had to file for bankruptcy because they had no more money. Like at all. Their business was going south for a while apparently. They're owing a lot of money left, right, and center, and even had to remortgage their house. But all of that only prolonged the inevitable. My heart stopped and sank. I feel their pain, but I also knew that I would never see our money ever again. Of course, we're not even registered creditors. We didn't even have a formal loan document. That's not what you would do with family, right? And even if we were proper creditors, I doubt there would be much left after everyone else is paid. It's a terrible situation. Looking back, there were many red flags that I didn't see. Money was never a welcome topic for discussion in our family, let alone money issues. But I should have seen that they were stressed more than they used to be. They made a few remarks about their business being slow, but I drew it to COVID and post-COVID economy, and even mentioned something about potentially selling their house. But they never elaborated on that, and I never asked because, talking about money was kind of taboo. Obviously, my wife is now mad at me, and I can understand it. I feel terrible. I robbed my family of a brighter future. We could have had so much of an easier life with so many opportunities, and instead, we're back to where we were 10 plus years ago. But this time, on a single income. My wife's on parental leave, with kids and a huge, bitter argument tearing us apart. Update, yes, my wife knew about it. It's not that I took the money without her knowing, but she was heavily pregnant and didn't really care much back then. Alright folks, what do you think?
I think OP did something really, really unwise. I do think he was a bit of a jerk in that it sounds like from his comments that the wife wasn't in a position to say yes or no and was kind of relying on him to do the work.
Yeah.
And so he didn't do his due diligence. Now, the biggest jerk in all of this is the dad for not being upfront with OP about the money issues. Before accepting the money, he should have made it very, very clear that, oh, hey, I'm actually in debt and need this money to pay off my creditors.
Yeah. So how somebody managed to accumulate running a small metalworking shop over $250,000 worth of debt is beyond me. It just sounds like they like to live a lavish lifestyle, and he was probably drawing a pretty big paycheck from his company. And there's a lot of pieces here that make me really question his business acumen, right? Because a lot of times when you set up a business, you'll set up like an LLC so that the finances in your house and your personal finances aren't tied to your business finances. And if you set up your business like that, then if your business declares bankruptcy, then you're not declaring bankruptcy in the rest of your life. It just means that your business fails, it goes bankrupt, and they have to collect credits from somewhere else, right? So it sounds like he wasn't even didn't even have a proper business set up. And that's actually a really, really big red flag right there. With that said, OP should probably look into the laws about what their legal obligation is now that this business has been foreclosed on, because they may be considered a co-proprietor in this business venture if they've invested this much money into the business. And I think that really is going to depend on the laws, it's going to depend on the tax codes. There's a lot of questions here. Like, when you loan somebody money, there needs to be some kind of paper trail about that, because if this is in the U.S., for instance, then not the FBI, but the IRS would be questioning how you got your hands onto $250,000, right? And then there would be some kind of paper trail, and that says, look, you owe either taxes on this because it's a loan, because it's a gift, or it's a loan and you don't owe taxes on it. So yeah, there's some stuff going on here that's very shady with how the father's conducted business. And also, what a terrible move to make, right? You know, like, the son was being generous. He's like, oh, my dad's expanding his business. But the dad wasn't expanding his business. He was trying to bail himself out of deep debts, right? And instead of being honest and upfront with his son and being like, look, son, it would be a bad idea for you to loan us this money because our business is going under, right? That would have been one thing, and then he could have taken a look at the books. He could have made some kind of assessment about whether or not this would be a wise financial decision or not. And yeah, but the father didn't say anything. He just kind of let him walk into oncoming traffic, right? It's like, oh, by the way, there's a it didn't even warn him. There's a highway right here. You might want to take the blinders off or something like that, right? So no, the guy is a real sleaze, if you ask me. No, you shouldn't take advantage of your family like this. Even if they're insisting, you should be very, very honest and upfront with them. Being like, look, I know you really want to help us out, but don't, because it's not such a good situation.
Yeah, and so let this be a lesson that if someone is in need of money, make sure you know all the financial details before you even consider loaning them money. If it involves joint finances and your partner is not in a position to be able to review those finances and whatnot, maybe hold off until they are.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And impressive ad 1189 says, how terrible a business must it have been to blow through $250,000 in a year? And OP replies, as I now understand, they mostly used it to repay back some of the existing, more pressing debts. And again, like, he had over $250,000 worth of debts. Your business should not be running in the red that deep. I mean, if you're a small business, then that's not a good place to be. And one crazy cat says, info, was your wife aware of the loan? And OP replies, yes, she knew, but she was many months pregnant back then, and had other priorities than doing a financial audit on her in-laws' business. She knew, but she kind of left it to me to decide. One thing that kind of strikes me about this comment is that he's like, oh, she would have done a financial audit on her in-laws' business, right? Which tells me that OP did not do an audit on his finances, on the business. Yeah,
well, it's very clear that she was trusting him to do his due diligence because she wasn't in a position to do that herself. And so that's where I think he really was a jerk, is that he just decided to hand over their entire savings without doing any research into his father's business.
Oh, yeah. And then on top of that, like, he could have just given away $10,000.
Yeah, like a smaller amount.
Like, why did he have to go in all in? Why? All in. And he's like, oh, by the way, Dad, here's $250,000. I know I've never loaned you any money before, but have $250,000.
Yeah, even if your parents have, or if other family member have impeccable credit, you don't want to give away the entirety of your savings.
Yeah. So, bad investment, bad decision making. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not taking my stepdaughter on vacation without my daughter? I have a stepdaughter, a 15-year-old female, with my new husband, and daughter, a 12-year-old female, with my ex who left me. My daughter adores her stepsister, but she doesn't like her back, which we understand. We planned a family vacation last summer, but we ended up having to cancel it because my stepdaughter didn't want to go on a trip with her sister and me. I ended up doing the trip with my daughter, and my husband did one with his. This year, we decided to go on a family vacation in late March, but this time my stepdaughter wanted a trip with both of us, but not her stepsister, because according to her, she is an annoying little brat that will ruin the trip. My daughter started to cry, and my stepdaughter told my daughter, "Go ask your own dad. Oh wait, he left you." I was in shock, and I told her that we would not be taking her on a vacation without my daughter, but my husband wants me to tell my daughter that life is unfair and leave her at her grandparents' house while we go on a vacation with my stepdaughter. My husband says it'll cost extra money to get my daughter her own room and extra cost to take her on the trip, and he said that he would rather spend the money on making the trip more memorable for his daughter. I'm honestly appalled at how much my husband favored his daughter that day, and we ended up having a massive argument, and accused me of not letting a teenager have a nice vacation without an annoying child. Am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think?
I mean, I don't think Opie's a jerk for putting her foot down about this, but she might be if she doesn't get a divorce. The way he is treating her daughter is unacceptable. And like, as the oldest child, sure, I get younger siblings are annoying, but if you can't just like exclude them and be like, "Oh, you're too annoying," like until you get to be a proper human, we're not going to have anything to do with you.
Yeah.
Like unless they were offering to do an equal trip with just OP's daughter, that's not a fair thing to do.
Yeah, well, and the fact that he's like, "Oh, you should just let your daughter go and blah, blah, blah." Right.
Well, and he sees getting her own room as, like, not worth it when we should be spoiling my daughter.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, really, what they should be saying is, look, you can either go on vacation as a family, or you can go on no vacation.
Right. If anyone doesn't go on the vacation, it should be the one who is throwing a fit about going on vacation with her sister.
Yeah, not to mention, she should be grounded after a comment like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, this should be grounding territory. This tells me that she's like a spoiled brat who gets away with anything she wants. She's got her daddy wrapped around her little finger.
Very clearly. So I definitely think OP needs to have some serious conversations with this man and put a stop to his favoritism immediately.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Scarlet Darkstar says, "You're the jerk for marrying a jerk that treats your daughter like she's an annoying imposition. You're the jerk for even momentarily entertaining the notion of just telling your daughter that life isn't fair. And she's staying home because she's an annoying child that will cost money that could be spent on her stepsister. I feel really bad for your daughter." I don't think I could have phrased that better.
Yeah.
And OP replies, "I mean, my daughter is quite annoying to her stepsister, so I understand that we have punished her and are working on her being less annoying."
Oh my goodness. Now, yeah, OP is definitely a jerk here. Like, as long as the daughter is just doing normal younger sister annoying things like, "Hey, want to play with me?" and sort of things, you should not be punishing for her that. Like, if she's actively, like, bullying or something like that, yes, punishment. But if she's just being a little 12-year-old annoying sister, like, you don't punish children for that.
I just had like a vision of the little sister waterboarding the other child. She's so annoying. Like, we're actually like on the wrong side of this, where she's actually like a psychopath that's like actually torturing her. Like, she's just a little annoying. No, she's a full-on maniac. No, I mean, there's no evidence to support that. I just had like the image pop in my head.
Well, I always have to caveat things because you never know what annoying means, but as long as we're talking typical sibling dynamics.
Yeah, I don't understand why the CIA keeps visiting her and getting tips. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she has a joke.
Why was the ghost so easy to trust?
Well, the ghost was easy to trust because they were actually your brother-in-law, and they made a ghost toast at your wedding as the ghost host.
So that's a clever one, because she was transparent.
Oh, that makes sense too. And that's the Canva picture that Amber took to make this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't design that one. And I have Earl Grey. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Tuesday, spelled T-W-O! Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please have it involve money.
Don't loan out money you are not willing to lose.
I think that is very good advice. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.